Welcome back, guys, to another roundtable. My name is Adam. Once again, with me, Rusmin.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
I didn't say your name yet, but Victor. And Victor. All right, so thank you so much for joining us. And today we're going to talk about one of the biggest acquisitions Microsoft is ever going to make. In fact, it's its biggest acquisition, which is they're going to buy Activision Blizzard for $75 billion. Inclusive of cash. So if you remove that, the enterprise value is slightly different. But that's the headline figure. And I think pretty exciting for me as a gamer myself, because Activision Blizzard is one of the biggest companies in terms of gaming. So we're going to talk about that deal, whether it makes sense for Microsoft, and what we think about it. Okay, so I think let's just have a quick background of the deal. What is Microsoft actually buying?
So I think they're basically buying all the games IP from Activision, right? So they have all those big games like Diablo, Call of Duty, War and Warcraft, Candy Crush, and StarCraft, and Overwatch, right? I think out of all these, like the main 6 games that they are dominating, right? I played Diablo, Call of Duty, War and Warcraft. No, I don't play Candy Crush, but I play StarCraft. Okay. But then all these are quite old game, but then they still dominate in the scene.
I mean,
so it's very good brand.
These are what you call franchises.
Yeah.
They've been around for a long time, very popular. Gamers love them.
So the most popular one is actually Candy Crush.
Yes, surprisingly, it's like basically you're not using your brain.
This is the death of gaming, I tell you. I mean, mobile games, to me, I've always said this before, mobile games
are not games.
I remember they make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically Microsoft is buying Activision Blizzard, the whole company, and this company, they own IPs, they own the games of these popular games, right? So like you said, World of Warcraft, Diablo, StarCraft, Call of Duty, and all that, and Candy Crush. Okay, so that's what they're buying. So how big is Activision Blizzard?
Yeah, so I think if you look at the top 10 public companies that's listed, their third quarter 2021, right? Actually, the biggest player in terms of game revenue is actually Tencent at about 8.3 billion, followed
mobile
by
games,
mobile. Tencent's mobile, but we talk about the whole game revenue, right? So Tencent is about 8.3 billion, Sony is about 4.3 billion US dollar. Okay, so if you look at Microsoft, it's about 2.9 billion revenue, followed by Activision Blizzard is actually about 1.9. So if Microsoft were to take over Activision Blizzard, right? So you're going to be the third largest player already, okay? So currently the third largest is actually Apple, which is about 3.6 billion.
Which I think the bulk revenue actually come from the App Store, right? So 71% I think of the App Store sales are actually gaming. So that classified as a gaming company. Yeah, so basically through this acquisition, I think we can see that Microsoft is getting a foothold in the gaming industry, because it's kind of a shortcut for them to become the third largest gaming companies in the world, right? So and that by acquiring all these contents, IP rights from the Activision, I think it allows them to add on this content into their Xbox Game Pass, right? So that will hopefully create the synergies, and it will create the enhancement in terms of stickiness for the gamers to play to stick to the subscription, because there are more games to play as well. And you also maybe will help with the adoption, right? So if they can get users from the Activision Blizzard to sign up for Xbox Game Pass, that would be a big win for Microsoft.
So I think basically games are really the building block for metaverse, right? So that's why you can see Tencent, all these players, they start to acquire more games, to consolidate. You can see there's a consolidation inside the gaming industry, which I think a lot of people are really going into it.
I think gaming is huge. I mean, when we talk about movies and Hollywood, the blockbusters and all that, we think that's a big industry. But gaming is twice as big as the movies. And I think, as a gamer myself, I've been gaming since I was a kid. And, Xbox is familiar to me. I'm a PlayStation guy anyway. But the potential, I think gaming has become mainstream over the last, I think, 10 years. Everyone games. Elon Musk games as well. I think Superman, Henry Cavill, he games as well. So all these people just game. It's just kind of like a pastime. It's not something like maybe 10, 20 years ago. It's like some people do it. It's just like normal nowadays. And like you said, I think the potential for the metaverse, and this whole thing is just going to be huge. So the growth of the gaming industry, I think, is just a lot of potential. And I think some of the games that I played, they're some of the best stories out there. In terms of like you watch a movie, enjoy the show and all that, but I think games are just like an interactive.
I think you play the game, is similar to like watching a movie. There's a lot of storylines.
It's like playing a movie, and it's interactive. There's the emotional depth to the game as well. Especially, I mean, not Candy Crush. I don't know. Maybe some people have a lot of emotional connection to Candy Crush because you can lose money in the game, right? You spend a lot of money. Yeah, but I think for some of the games that I play, they're some of the best experiences in terms of the story.
So I think all these players, they know they have to consolidate the industry. If not, Netflix will definitely come in and eat their share away, right? Because Netflix is also building the gaming, right? So if you look at the gaming industry itself, right, mobile game is about 90.7 billion.
Yeah.
Then PC is about 35.9 billion, followed by your console is about 49.2 billion. So you can see the big chunks actually in the mobile and your console game, but basically mobile is the one that is really dominating right now, right?
Yeah, so I think if you look at the future of gaming also, we are actually moving towards to cloud. Okay, so we no longer need a console or a very high performance smartphone in order to play the games, right? So in the future, with let's say mass adoption of 5G, which I think Microsoft is actually foreseeing that it's going to happen right in the next 5 years, we are increasingly going to play games on the cloud. Okay, what this means is basically you just need a device that of course is 5G enabled, and you just stream the games through the internet, right? And then you can just play the games, without any lag. Of course, depend on the connection, the speed of connection.
So I think the limitation now is because you need a high-end machine to play the best games.
Yes, which can be very costly.
Expensive. But once you have everything through the cloud, all the servers have the best equipment. As long as they can stream it to you without any latency. That's the dream.
Yeah.
Right?
So I think Microsoft wants to be the Netflix of gaming. I mean, they mentioned it themselves, right? So as we move towards this cloud gaming, so they're actually gaining the footholds, buying all these studios. So actually that will bring the number of studios that they have to now 30, right, from 23. So eventually I think gaming is a sector where it's growing over the long term, and I think Microsoft want to dominate in this area, okay? Because by putting all this game into one single subscription, I think that allows Microsoft or increase the stickiness of the whole platform.
All right. So so I think we want to talk about the deal whether this deal is a great deal for Microsoft, because I think we can all see the potential for gaming. I think it's huge. It's been growing. I don't think it's going to stop growing, especially post-pandemic. People have realized it's such a great way to spend some time. And it can be quality time with your family as well. You're gaming together. So would you think this is a good deal for Microsoft? Because you remember, this is the most expensive deal that Microsoft is ever going to make.
I think you spend this amount of money and you get 400 million monthly active user. I think it's quite a good deal for them.
Which of course 250 millions mobile gamers. So you're looking at about 150 over millions in terms of console and PC games.
So the console and PC games player add up about 145 million, right? And if you look at Microsoft Game Pass, it's about 25 million subscriber at this moment, right? So and their Game Pass monthly subscription is about $14.99 US.
$14.99?
$15.
Let's say $15.
Yes, okay. $14.99.
So if you multiply, by the 145 million PC and console that probably going to convert, their potential revenue for a year is about probably 26 billion. But of course, you don't expect everyone going to convert, right? And of course, on top of that, if Microsoft were to make all these like top brands like Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, or maybe other StarCraft or something exclusive inside Microsoft Game Pass, then maybe people will just start competing.
We won't know that for sure yet, because that will attract antitrust.
Correct.
And I think certain games can't be just the Xbox or just Game Pass, right? So they have to be on multi-platforms and all that.
That is actually their main strategy right now. Okay. So, but the way I see it, I think Microsoft is just basically trying to build a library of games, which eventually you no longer need to buy games through an App Store or your Android store. Okay, so bypassing these two giants in the industry altogether, right? So that will build the moats for themselves, right? So once they start to create this wall garden for themselves, gamers have no choice. If they like to play certain games like Call of Duty, they can only play in the Xbox or maybe the Game Pass itself. Okay, but we don't know whether they're going to do that as an exclusive game title.
The other thing I see is that this, to me, is a very similar thing to Disney buying Star Wars or Disney buying Marvel. It's like you're buying franchises of these games, and the thing is, like, you can just basically create new titles around these franchises again and again. Look at Star Wars. I mean, the first three the original trilogy, I think, is still the best. Then you have the prequel, and then you have the Disney sequels, which I think were okay. But they still made a lot of money, you know. And I think they bought the Star Wars rights for, was it 2 billion or was it 4 billion? I can't remember.
They make tons of money out.
And they made the money already. So I think this is the same argument that you can make for Microsoft, where you're buying one of the best gaming publishers out there. They own IP on all these franchises, and you can just take this IP and just create new titles again and again.
And it's usually the same game.
It's usually the same game. How many Calls of Duty are there? Call of Duties are there, but they're all basically the same. They're just shooting someone else.
Exactly like your FIFA you were sharing.
FIFA is by EA Sports. I think it's one of the most scummy companies out there, in terms of gaming. But I used to play FIFA. It's the same game. It's just football. But every single year I will buy a new game, $70. I had no idea why I was doing it. And then I've stopped at this point, okay. But that's the thing about gaming. People have there's a fan base.
Yep.
And on top of that, of course, I mentioned about cloud gaming. Maybe I just put a number on that. Based on forecast, I think they are expecting this sector to quadruple in the next 3 years. Okay, by 2024, it should reach about 6.5 billion from 1.6 billion as of 2021. Okay, so it's going to be a rapid growth in the cloud gaming sector. And of course, we throw in the metaverse. That will be a whole new world altogether, right? But at this stage, of course, it's still very early, and I think Xbox doesn't have a VR headset.
Not yet.
So I don't know. Maybe
VR could be the next big thing, right? Yeah, because the PlayStation has VR.
Yes.
VR 1 is going to come out with the VR 2 headset as well.
So if they could come out with the games where you have your God view, which is the third-party view, where you can play the games in the world, it's amazing. Because I've been trying to play some of those games on Oculus, and it's just mind-blowing.
It's a different experience altogether.
A whole new experience that you are looking at, right? So even though you are not the game, main cast, but you are looking at the godlike view, and it's very interactive. Okay, you get to, they ask you to do certain things that you need to move your arm around, right, to be participating in that games itself.
So I think cloud gaming is really the way to go moving forward, but then not a lot of people are still in the cloud gaming at this moment, right? So I was reading one article from Wall Street Journal. They was talking about the cloud gaming market is growing very fast, and actually two players are dominating that industry for cloud gaming, which is Sony cloud, in terms of cloud gaming console, it's Sony and Microsoft.
Okay.
Right, so both of them actually accounts 3/4 of the whole cloud gaming market share and all this. But they expect that moving forward, more people are going to come in. They eventually going to drop and all this, right? So I think Activision's the acquisition is very, very important for them to get people to stick to their their ecosystem and all this. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, but again, I think this deal is not confirmed. It's going to take, I think, a couple of years, right, before it's completed.
I think it's 2023. They said
2023. So next year, right? So I think it may attract antitrust regulation, because that will put the. They are essentially trying to build a wall garden, the way I see it.
Okay. Yeah. I think a lot of people can feel it's a good deal for Microsoft. Yeah. But do you think there are any drawbacks to this acquisition? Maybe just like the way. I think any acquisition, there could be some teething problems, putting things together.
Yeah, if you are Sony, of course, obviously you will start to panic, right? So they say that they will agree to the existing contract, but then when it comes to renewal, you don't know whether they're going to pull it off.
I think like Call of Duty from the PlayStation.
Yes. So that's something. That's the reason why I think Sony stock crashed by I think double digit on the day of the announcement. 10%. It has recovered, but then it's a reaction from the market. They foresee that could happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think overall, if you look at the price tag that they're going to pay for the deal, exclude the cash that they're going to pay, they pay about 68.7 billion, right? They have always been traded around 25, medium PE about 25.65 times.
This for Activision.
For Activision, correct. So if you based on the trailing EPS, you multiply up at this 68.7 billion enterprise value, right? So literally Microsoft is about paying about 26 times, which is actually close to the fair value. So I think it's quite a fair deal for them. They didn't really overpay for
ultimately it's going to be accretive for them, because it's a all cash consideration, right? They didn't issue out any shares, so it's going to be a positive deals for Microsoft shareholders, right? And this amount, I think, is very easily it's affordable for Microsoft, because their cash flow generation itself a year is about 80 billion, so that it could easily cover this deal alone in that year. Right? Unlike if you ask Sony to acquire that will actually contribute a bulk of their market cap. So it's a big acquisition for them, but to Microsoft, it's just a single single digit
Correct.
of the market cap.
Microsoft is so big
I
that
think they have 140 billion in revenue. Yeah.
Yeah, 168 billion
Ah,
in revenue for Microsoft.
Oh, yes, and
for
their
revenue.
cash is about 137 billion, right? As I look at it.
I mean,
And
the
they're
amount you can acquire any company.
Almost any company.
Yeah.
So I think even this deal was done at 45% premium to Activision's last stock price before it was announced.
Yeah.
So 45% premium is actually quite a bit.
Yep.
Right. But even then, when you add on the premium, you're saying that it goes based on the
valuation.
The valuation is actually reasonable for Microsoft,
Yeah.
despite the size of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it strengthens their business.
It strengthens them more,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, IP. I think we've seen the experiment of Disney and Star Wars, Disney Marvel.
IP
is
very important.
Very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen how successful the Marvel MCU is.
Yes, correct.
For Disney. So
They can literally spin out anything.
So I don't think it's good at the same level for Microsoft and Activision, but they are really getting a whole library of really good IP.
Yep.
Triple A.
A lot of AAA games and Candy Crush. So but it gives them exposure to the mobile market. Yeah, which is huge, like you said.
I give Candy Crush negative AAA.
So anyway, maybe there are a lot of Candy Crush fans as well.
Just joking.
So yes, a lot of potential for Microsoft. We think is a great deal. So if you're an Activision Blizzard shareholder, I think you'll be laughing on the way to the bank.
Yeah.
Yep.
45% premium. And if you're a Microsoft, shareholder, I think it's a pretty good deal.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think the potential for gaming is here to stay. As a gamer myself, yeah.
Yep.
All right. So I think there's a pretty good wrap up for the deal. We think it's going to go through. Who knows? Most likely, maybe. What do you think?
I don't know.
You don't know?
50-50 for me.
Yeah, but a lot of I think.
I read an article. They said that the antitrust is I think if it's two big players buying each other, but now it's
it's kind of
it's just a smaller player
swallowing something.
Yeah,
right?
correct.
Yeah. So anyway, I hope that was a good summary. If you were just wondering about this deal as a Microsoft shareholder, or if you're an Activision shareholder, or you're just interested in general about gaming and tech in general as well. So I think this is a good wrap up. So once again, my name is Adam. This is Rusmin.
Thank you.
That's Victor.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you so much for joining us. And if you like our roundtable, please hit the like button. Tell us you were doing a great job. Subscribe to our channel. Many more roundtables coming up as well. Any questions or comments, put them in the comment section, and we'll love to have a chat with you. So once again, thank you so much, and we'll see you around again.